Pet Life Radio.
You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello and welcome to Six Figure Dog Business. I'm your host, Ty, of TyTheDogGuide.com. Now this is a show where we help you start or grow your dog-related business to a healthy six-figure per year or more income. Now I'm excited because today I'm doing a couple things a little bit different. One of those is I'm re-interviewing a guest that we had on before. It's one of the most popular shows we've ever done. And secondly, I'm actually sitting down in the same room with him instead of doing it over the phone. So stay with us. I'm going to come right back with Jim Closson.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause.
Tired of wasting money on giant boxes of litter that don't work and don't last? Switch to World's Best Cat Litter, the only litter with concentrated power. So even a small bag lasts one cat 30 days. Outstanding odor control, quick lumping, lightweight. It's even flushable. World's Best Cat Litter. Everything else is just litter. Find it near you at www.itsnotjustlitter.com. That's www.itsnotjustlitter.com.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your four-legged fashions today. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Okay, and welcome to today's show. I'm sitting down today with Jim Closson. So first of all, Jim, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Ted.
And so this show might sound a little bit different. I'm anxious to hear what it sounds like once we finally get this recorded, because normally we're doing these shows over Skype. We're recording them through computers and phone lines and all that good stuff. This is the first time I'm actually getting to sit down with somebody. And the reason why, if you listened to the last interview that I did with Jim, and if you didn't listen to it, go back and listen to it right now, because it's some amazing information. We talked about how Jim is able to have a 75% close rate company-wide, not just, himself. Actually, he's higher than 75, but, his employees, his trainers are able to have a higher than 75% closing rate. As I was talking with him, I realized, gosh, this guy has something that I need. And so I begged him. I basically said, Jim, can I please come up to your place? Please, please, please come up to your place. And so I did. So I drove up here. He's in Boise, Idaho. And I've spent this week with him learning what he does, seeing what he does. And so I said, hey, while we're up here, I need to pick your brain some more. I need to figure out how you get this phone to ring so much. So again, thanks for being on today. But before we get into how you get that phone to ring, what we've got to do here is there's something deeper here, because a lot of trainers and groomers and dog walkers and pet sitters are like, okay, I do need that phone to ring. But what I've learned from you over these last few days is even more important is to understand why, the why behind the business. So I kind of want to turn the mic over to you here for a second. I want to get a little bit of your backstory. Why is this so important to you before we start talking about how we get the phone to ring?
Well, this is, and I'm sorry if I get too emotional here. My story is 20 years ago, I was a dog trainer, doing very well as a dog trainer, and I broke my back, and I lost everything. When I say lost everything, I lost my house, I lost my car, my wife moved out, I had a brand new baby daughter, I had a 3-year-old child, and I had a 3-month-old child, and I literally was homeless. I didn't have my wife, I was sleeping in my car, winter was coming, I was too physically injured to train dogs again, but I had to take stock in my life. Now, I was fortunate in that all in the same day, God blessed me with a severe injury, but He also blessed me with the ability to solve problems. And so growing up, I grew up in an environment where my dad's retired military. We grew up in a small logging town in Oregon. And it was a principle of survival. So there was times growing up that, things weren't always on the table, so you had to hunt and fish to put food on the table. So I was raised with a passion to promote myself and to work hard. So while I was sleeping in my car and it was wintertime and it was cold, I actually went into the library, the local town I was in, and I found a book by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. And if you haven't read that book, I encourage you to get it because it'll get you in the right mindset. Matter of fact, my position, when I say I was homeless, I was homeless. I was living in my car, and the way I would eat, this is before cell phones, I would park my car in front of a fast food restaurant, and I would watch the drive-thru. And if I saw someone come through with a big vehicle that had a, big fancy truck, and they had 3 or 4 bags, I would call from a payphone and say, hey, I came through with a big black Dodge truck, and you showed me by a hamburger and a Coke, and that's how I would eat. But once I got that book by Napoleon Hill, it started to change my mindset. I realized that I was more than what I was living. And I sat down in that car. It was a 72 Buick with no reverse and no heater. And I started writing out goals. And these goals are what led me to where I am today. And so 1994, I was worth less than zero. As a matter of fact, my dad said I was worth more the day I was born than in 1994 when I broke my back. But 11 months later, I had a net worth of over $1 million. And I did it by focusing on my strengths. I focused on where I wanted to go, but more importantly, it was the why. Why am I doing this? Why am I going to go out and push and push and push to succeed? And for me, it's because I wanted to get my family back. They meant the world to me. I've been married to the same lady for 27 years. She's my high school sweetheart, and we work this business together. So once you know your why, and I'm sorry if I sound emotional, but it's really close to my heart. So
no, I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that you're able to open up and be real. I think that's super important. And I think everyone listening to this has their why. Now, their why could be dramatic, like yours, or their why could be, I don't like my job, and I want to do something cool with dogs every day. And so I think the important thing, though, is to figure out what that why is for you, because that's going to create pain.
That's
and
right.
Pain is what pushes you. And when I say pain, I don't mean that like a negative way, like, in the dog training world, pain is, we don't want pain, we don't want to hurt the dog like some of these old school dog trainers do. But there's this pain that pushes people. And so now you mentioned something that you got this book, you read the book, and the book pushed you to set some goals. Let's talk about that, because yesterday you sat down with me and you showed me how you do a goal board. And so tell me more about that.
So a goal board is where I begin with the end in mind. So on my goal board, kind of hard to describe over the radio, but I'll do my best. So my goal board is set up across from left to right on the top part, and I use a big whiteboard. I will have on the far right corner 100%. So this is beginning with the end in mind. How much do I want to earn that year? So for some people it's 60,000. For another person it might be 200,000 or more. So you've seen what my goals are. You've seen what we do here. But let's talk about the new person to dog training, or someone who's improving. Maybe they just left their job and they want to jumpstart it. So let's say you left a job where you were earning $60,000 a year and you want to earn $75,000 a year as a dog trainer. So you would put that on the far right corner. So that's your goal. That's your target. And then you want to work backwards. So across the top of the board, you're going to have the months of the year, and then under the month, 8.33%. Because 12 divided by 100% is 8.33%. So you want to be at 8.3% of your goal each month. Mm-hmm. From there, you're going to figure out, okay, so if we divide, 75,000 by 12, that's going to give you what you need to earn in a month. And then you divide 75,000 by 52, that's going to tell you what you need to earn per week to reach that goal. So if your weekly number, let's say, is $2,000, and you're selling an average program of $800 or $750, whatever it is, you have to know what your programs are going to bring. So you might have multiple programs that range from $500 to $2,000. So if your average ticket for your program is $750 and you need to earn $2,000 a week or whatever it is your goal, you're going to be able to divide that by your average program, and now it's obtainable. Whereas when you first look at earning $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year, it seems like a huge elephant. But when you break it down by week, and then you break it down by your average ticket sale, now you can achieve it, because you can look at it and say, okay, all I need to do is close 3.1 people per week to reach my goal at this average of, let's say, $750. Now, if you close someone with a $2,000 board and train program, there your average ticket went up, so you need to close less people, and it's all going to balance out. But if you don't have your map, your roadmap in place, you're not going to know how many people need to close. You're not going to know what your average is. So you write down this goal board and you check your numbers every single day. You're looking, what do I need to do? How many people do I need to close? How many phone calls do I need to make? What events do I need to do to get that phone to ring? And that's what we're going to talk about today. What I do to get the phone to ring.
And so I think that's critical. I kind of want to add like a stamp on top of that and highlight what you just said, because you can make this very just mathematical. If you know,
Absolutely.
like you mentioned, my average ticket is 750 and I close 40% of the people that walk through my door, and that means I need to have 10 phone calls per week, and that's going to get me four sales per week, and that's going to get me my close to $3,000 a week or whatever the case might be. Actually, that would be $3,000 a week. And so if you know all those numbers, X amount of phone calls results in X amount of opportunities to sell, results in X amount of sales, results in X amount per sale. You can basically just write out what your year's going to look like and then push for that. Now, you mentioned you've got a board that you do that on. I'm assuming you probably keep track in other ways of your numbers?
I keep track in other ways, yeah. Matter of fact, we keep track on our computer system where my trainers also keep track of what they're doing. I can pull up my trainers' closing rates per week, per day, their percentage of closing. And so we track our numbers, and I train all my trainers to track their numbers. But it started with that simple whiteboard that I looked at every single day. So I have it sitting in my home where I can get up every morning and it's right there in front of me. And I look at it. Now remember, the why has to be stronger than the how. Why are you doing this? I mean, it could be anything from I hate corporate America job that I have, or you've always loved working with dogs, and now you can make it real. A lot of people don't believe how well a dog trainer can do. I hear it all the time. Oh, you're just a dog trainer? Well, Ty's been up here for the last few days, and you've seen the numbers that we've produced this month just in dog training. And I don't want to pat myself on the back, but believe me when I tell you that you could easily earn $8, $10, $12, $15, or $20,000 a month. I'm having a record month. You're here with me watching us have a record month. And you've seen my trainers strike out on some demos.
Yeah, and we're not going to, I don't think you're comfortable sharing specific numbers, but I can tell you guys at home, there's no one in the country doing these kind of numbers. I'd be very surprised if we found one other person doing these kind of numbers. So I wanted to ask you here, and so you're tracking your numbers, you're tracking your why, and so I always when I talk about this, I always kind of joke around because I hate sounding like a hippie and stuff like that. I always kind of say it's a hippie thing. I know it's not a hippie thing, but there is a real power in manifesting what you want, right?
That's
you
right.
Put it out there. Some people call it putting out there in the universe. Some people call it karma. I always joke about it being a hippie principle, but there is something very real about putting that number on that board and saying, this is what I'm going to achieve and this is how we're going to do it. And the fact that you look at it every day, the fact that you check your numbers every day, the fact that you have this kind of on this top of mind awareness that I call it, the TOMA, the fact that you have all that goes an incredible way towards actually manifesting that reality, right?
That's right. What you focus on, you get more of, whether you want it or not. You focus on problems and you focus on why you're not succeeding, guess what? You're going to figure out how to not be successful. I don't focus on all the negative stuff. I focus on all the power of the positive. So karma is my best friend. I give more, like radio shows like this. There's a lot of the dog trainers that I know that would never share their secrets. Well, to me, the more I give away, the more I get back. The universe sends me stuff. I'm so blessed to have this business, and I give away a lot.
And in fact, I want to talk about that towards the end of the show today, because you actually have a program, which is what I'm doing right now, where I dropped everything. I came up here to Boise to spend some time with you, check out your operations, see what you're doing, work with your trainers, listen in on your trainers, listen in on you, etc. You've got a program that folks can come up and do that. We're going to talk about that towards the end of the show. But what I want to talk about now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've talked about the power of the why. We've talked about your story. We've talked about how, it's important to have these goals. We've talked about how it's important to measure these goals. What we need to be doing now is getting that bloody phone to ring.
That's right.
And now I don't want to work backwards, but once we have that phone ringing, that's where I want you to go back and listen to Jim's other show that we did, where we talked about now that they're ringing, let's get them in and actually sell some dog training or sell some dog walking or sell some dog grooming or what have you. So stay right with us. We're going to be right back.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause.
Amazing Pet Expos is coming to a city near you. Admission is always free, and your pet is welcome. shopping, adoptions, free nail trims, discounted shots and microchipping, agility, a pet costume contest, and much more. Plus, meet the guys from Animal Planet's hit TV series Tank and Pit Boss. Online at AmazingPetExpos.com.
Bring your pets to the Pet Expo.
Pet Life Radio, the #1 pet radio network on the planet, joins forces with iHeartRadio to put the power of your pets in your pocket.
Awesome.
Download the iHeartRadio app and rock Pet Life Radio on your phone, on your tablet, on your Xbox, in your car. Pet talk, pet tunes, and fun pet times. Pet Life Radio and iHeartRadio. Positively Possum.
Hi, this is T.O.D. Anderson, and I'm the host of Get Positive Results on Pet Life Radio. We're going to talk about a variety of topics on canine behavior and training, all based on modern methods that are fun for you and your dog. We might be talking about other critters too, so join us on Get Positive Results. We'll talk about common issues between you and your dog, answer your questions, discuss different activities you can do with your dog, and keep you posted on current canine news and products. All this on Get Positive Results on Pet Life Radio.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
All right, we're back. We're with Jim Closson today. Jim is in Sit Means Sit up here in Boise, Idaho, dog trainer. And we're talking about how to create a really big business. Now, in Jim's case, we're talking about how to create a really big business. That may not be the case for you. You might just want that freedom. You might never want an employee. You might never want a facility. You might, however you want to manifest your business, we're talking about how to get there. And we're talking about, ideally, the path of least resistance. And so, if you are in a business, you are a salesperson. Sorry to tell you that if you didn't know. A lot of business owners don't know that. They're like, I just want to train dogs. I just want to groom dogs. So that's fine, but you've got to sell it first. So if we're going to sell it, we got to get that phone to ring. So let's talk about that. You do a million things. And in fact, if folks come up and visit you, you're going to share basically all of them.
I will.
We don't have time to do all of that today. So let's go into some of the bigger ones, some of the bigger things that you do to get that phone to ring. So what would you say is probably a primary one?
So the first thing, let's talk about some things that I do that I get for free. Believe it or not, I get radio and television for free. People go, how do you do that? It's the most expensive type of advertising. Well, this is where someone who is on a budget, someone who's brand new, can't spend a lot of money, you can actually get your name out there. Now, be prepared when you start getting this free advertising through radio and television, your competitors are going to hate you. I mean, a lot of people don't know this. I've had other trainers in my area threaten me, threaten my family. I've had to file police reports on them because my marketing is out there all over the place. And a lot of it I don't have to pay for. So let's talk about free or almost free marketing to get the phone to ring. Radio advertising. Let's talk about this first. If you listen to your radio in your local area, you hear a DJ talking about how their dog just chewed up their couch or whatever. What I did is I'm driving down the road one day and I hear this morning show person talk about her dog. So I sent her an email. My name is Jim Closson, such and such dog training. I heard you talking about your dog Gunner this week. I'd like to help you out. I will give you a $2,000 value training package if you'll talk about me on the radio. So it started with one morning show DJ. We got great results with their dog. She invited me on her show. So that started the phone ringing. But what that led to is you have to understand that in radio, people don't own one radio station. It's big broadcasting and journal companies that own these radio stations. So when I go into the studio, there was actually 8 radio stations there. Over the course of several months, I ended up training dogs for every single one of those morning show hosts. At least one of the hosts, because most of them had 2 hosts in the morning. So that got me more radio airtime. When on television, what I did is I contacted one of the reporters and I said, would you like to do a human interest story? I trained my dog to walk around the park and pick up trash. And so I had them follow me, I'd pick up trash, have my dog put it in the garbage can. So it was a fun little trick to do, but it was just a way to give back to the community and how I could go through the park and help pick things up. And it brought awareness to keeping the park clean and being a responsible dog owner. But what it also did is anytime they needed an extra story, a human interest story, they would call me and we would do things on whatever. And one time it was on the importance of socializing your puppy. One time it was on the importance of being responsible, picking up when you're on a walk in the park, And one time they interviewed me when there was a dog bite case where a postal worker got hurt. That led to me doing seminars for postal workers, UPS workers, electrical workers, which again led to more referrals. I just signed a lady yesterday for a board and train program from a seminar that I did for the power company for their workers that used to go into the homes. And she said she remembers the seminar. She got a dog. She immediately wanted me to train it. And anyway, so it's the way to get your name out there, get on television so you can put that in your advertising and your bannering. Another thing that I do.
I wanted to interrupt you there for a second because one thing that I don't think a lot of dog trainers and groomers and sitters and walkers realize is that TV and radio especially are some of the most stressed out people in the world because every darn day they have to put something on the air that people are going to want to tune into and listen to and watch. And so they are constantly, every day, I mean, there's people that their only job is to find stuff to put on the radio and put on the television.
Find stories. And if you come to them with a story, if you come to them with something that they can fill, sometimes they'll run stories multiple times over multiple newscasts. So it's not uncommon. They ran that story with me walking through the park, several different newscasts throughout the day.
And if it's pre-packaged and it's pretty and you speak well and you say basically, here's a story, you guys don't have to do anything other than show up and, and all this stuff. It makes you so attractive to these radio stations and these news stations because that's all they're looking for is they're looking to educate and entertain their guests and the people that tune in. And so if you make their job easier, like you mentioned, they call you. They call you, and with no money out of your pocket, you're getting like huge exposure to thousands and thousands of local people, right?
That's right. And let me tell you what that led to. So with the newscast, after they did multiple stories with me, they started inviting me into their morning show every Monday. So for those that live in the Boise area, you travel through the Boise area, you will see me every Monday morning on Good Morning Idaho giving pet tips. So I'm the pet expert, and it doesn't cost me a dime. But it'll drive your competitors crazy because they don't know how you did it.
Exactly.
So it's a great way to get some free advertising. Same thing on the radio. When I did it on the radio, they invited me on to the local news or talk show, which led to a weekly invitation to come on called Ask the Expert Friday, which ended up leading to an 11-year career having a pet radio show. Now, you need to speak well, you need to practice. I prepare. There's a quote that I heard from John Maxwell in a book that I read, and it says, his quote is, "The key to success is self-confidence, and the key to self-confidence is preparation." You need to prepare. You need to over-prepare because you don't know when that opportunity is going to present itself. For me, when they invited me on that morning show, because I was articulate, because I was confident, because I came in with a dog and was completely trained, they then invited me back. I've now been on television over 300 times in the last 4 years.
And I want to just add a little highlight to that because I have a very similar story, and so I want to make sure that this show is about you, but I want people to also realize that this isn't a fluke, that Jim speaks really well, and so he was able to do this in Boise. That's how I got my business started. When I first got my business started, I was on the verge of bankruptcy. I was kind of not in the same dire straits, but I had a baby and another baby on the way. I was like, I got to make some money here. And I have no money. I have $10 a month for a website, and that's it. That's the only money I have. And so it was April, and April is, I don't even remember, National Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Month or something like that. And the most popular station in Salt Lake, I knew that they were dog owners. And so I called them up and I said, hey, did you guys know that April is National Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Month? And they're like, no. Yeah, we should really talk about this. I'm a dog trainer. I can come in and give some dog. And they're like, that's a great idea. And so,
there you go.
And it led to 2 or 3 years of me coming in every single week and just jump-started my business at absolutely no cost to me other than the time it took for me to get down there. And so anyways, just to add kind of a stamp on top of what you've said, I've since gone and done similar things with television, with local magazines, newspapers, etc. And so this is not a fluke that I was able to do it, that Jim was able to do it. This is something you can do in your market. Go out there and find free stuff. So, well, awesome. So we're talking about PR here. What's another strategy that you use?
So another thing that we do is, of course, some digital campaigns, which could be your search engine optimization, your Facebook campaigns, Google AdWords. Now, these are some things that cost money, but are well worth it. I have a team that works on my business. I actually I can't tell you any of that. I'm not that smart. I'm just a dog trainer, but I got people that can do that. And I'll tell you it's critical. If you're a tech person, you know about that. It's absolutely a fantastic thing to do to keep your name out there. Some of the other campaigns we do, and Ty, I know this is the one we're looking at right here. This was the biggie.
The veterinary one.
The veterinary campaign. We do a veterinary campaign, and we're not going to give away all the secrets of what we do within this veterinary campaign, but I will tell you this. With veterinarians, they are what we call an allied resource. There are multiple allied resources. Allied resources are people that share your clients but are not direct competitors to you. So veterinarians, groomers, feed stores, pet stores. I've developed allied resources here and in the Boise area. I didn't choose a whole bunch of them. We use the 80-20 rule where 20% of the people are doing 80% of the business. So I found out who that 20% was and I targeted those. Some of the things we do with the veterinary campaign, a lot of people tell me, I can't get into the vets. I can't get into the vets. Well, if they come up here and they do a mentoring program, I will show them how to get into the vets. I will show them how to outshine their competitors. It's not just about walking in and leaving your business cards and your rat cards, because every dog trainer in the country does that. There are certain things that I do, certain seminars that I give vets, and certain things that I do to get my foot in the door. And you're looking at one of them right here. I don't want to give away all my secrets, but I will tell you that this particular veterinary campaign, it's a paid campaign, something you got to put a little bit of money into, but it's probably going to be your single biggest return on investment that you're going to make.
And let me interrupt you here, because Jim told me something the other day, and it floored me. How many vets are in Boise?
There's a little over 100 vets.
And that is part one of what floored me, because he knows how many vets are in Boise. I don't know how many vets are in Salt Lake City.
There's 113 vets that are actively working. Now, there's probably more than that are retired, but actively seeing clients on a daily basis.
And that's what shocked me, is that you've got your data and you've got your metrics down to where you know how many vets exist, you know? And so that takes some work. And how many have you done work for?
We've trained for 71 that I know of, 73, because 2 others said they trained with us, but they trained with one of my other trainers.
Oh, yeah, that was the other day I was in here, and someone said, oh, yeah, you trained their boxer or something like that. Yeah.
And I said, yeah, absolutely. And then I had to go back and look, and it wasn't even me. It was one of my other trainers.
Gotcha.
So we trained for more than 3/4 of the veterinarians in the Boise area.
Gotcha. And so I know, like I said, I know that you share the entire program when folks come up here and do your mentor program. But give us a little taste of what you do with these vets that gets them to refer you out so much.
So the first thing we do is when we walk in, we don't just ask for the referral. We'll bring in a box of cookies. There's a local bakery here that makes some large cookies. We'll bring in 2 dozen cookies, and we might bring them in a puppy seminar, how we'll do a puppy seminar for them, or a bite prevention seminar for their clients or for their staff in the kennel to help lower insurance costs and day loss wages, that kind of stuff.
Now, do you find, sorry to interrupt there, do you find that most veterinary offices that if they have a trainer coming in that they can get lower insurance rates?
Some of the vets have told us with the more education we've given their clients that their insurance might not go down, but the lost days from injuries have gone down because we taught them how to handle dogs. And so they have less dog bites. So we will do things like puppy seminars where they will market this free puppy seminar to their clients, and we do these monthly seminars with different veterinarians in Boise where we will come in and we do a free puppy seminar. Now the owners will come in, they don't even bring their puppies, it's us to teach the owners how to go through potty training or how to prevent play biting, what toys are going to be appropriate for puppies. So we give away the free puppy seminars. The veterinarian is able to build client loyalty because he's giving back to his clients, and then that generates referrals for us. So free puppy seminar is the first one. We will check in with the vets on a 6-week basis. We do an 8-touch program, so 8 times a year we're going to touch bases with that vet. One of the things that is we built a funding emergency program where a lot of our clients will donate money. We start a fund at the vet, and this all started because one time a dog came into the emergency clinic in Boise that had been seriously injured and no one knew whose dog it was. So the vets ended up taking care of the dog survived, they found a home for him, but our clients got together and we decided to donate and into a fund in case that should happen again. So what we've done is the 2 24-hour emergency clinics, our clients have got together, we've created a fund where it's taken care of buy, sit, mean sit in case a dog comes in that's hit by a car or something traumatic like happened to this pug. And what that did by creating that fund is got us on television again. That Sit, Mean Sit Dog Training with their clients have donated $2,000 to the 24-hour emergency clinic to take care of such and such a dog that was found. And again, it's a human interest story, keeps our name out there. And that, the clients took care of that. The clients actually built that for us. I would like to mention one other thing about getting that phone to ring. Our local newspaper, the Idaho Statesman, has an outdoor sports writer. They actually have two of them. And what we did is the same thing we did with the radio DJs. We went to the outdoor sports writer and we said, we will train your dog to pick up ducks and ride in your canoe and everything if you'll talk about us in the newspaper. So about 3 times a year, he writes articles about dog training, dog safety on the boat, dog hunting. Every year, he'll do a preparing your dog for hunting season. And it's an interview with us. And again, it doesn't cost us a thing, but it gets our name out there.
Awesome. When you do these seminars, is it just simply, because I can picture a lot of people saying, this seminar, I don't want to like push people into buying from me. I'm guessing, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, you go and you do this seminar, whether it's at Cabela's or at the vet's office, and afterwards you're probably just like, hey, cool, if you guys want any more information about us, there's some literature at the back.
That's exactly what we do. So we're not there to sell them anything. We're there to help them achieve results with their puppy. And you mentioned about seminars at Cabela's and local sportsmen's and Shields and that kind of stuff. There's another way that we get our name out there. If you understand how remote collars work or you understand about hunting, that's one more area that you can use to get your name out there to do a free seminar to generate leads. I don't ask them. I don't sell them on anything. I'm there to help them. I don't give them all the information during the seminar. I give them enough where they want more. And I'll say, if you guys need more help, feel free to take one of our cards, and I leave coupons there. So they get $25 off a group class, $50 off private lessons, maybe $100 off a board and train program. Feel free to pick up a coupon, pick up our cards. If I can help you in any other way, feel free to call my office and set up a free consultation. So without selling anything, without saying, oh, here comes a sales pitch, they'll pick it up, and it always generates business.
Now, we're running out of time, and so one more tip. Give us one more tip or one more way to make the phone ring, and then I want to just finish up talking a little bit about your mentor program.
So one of the things that we do is special events. So events could be your pet expos, your sportsman shows, your RV shows, that kind of stuff. It does cost money to do the event, but it'll bring in tons of leads. I just did a sportsman show a few weeks ago where I was up. They gave me the stage, and I talked about how to do a trained retrieve. What that did is that led to a lot of people wanting me to help them with their dogs. At the end of that 4-day event, the event cost me $600. We have over 100 people that put down that they want a consultation with us. So I'll be working those leads over the next few months. So that initial $600 investment led to over 100 people saying, I want and need your service. Yeah,
and then of course, like I say, go back and listen to Jim's other show because he outlines exactly how to take as many of those people as possible and turn them into clients. Because let's say you were even unsuccessful and you got just 10% of those people. 10% of those people and your average is just under $2,000. That's almost $20,000 from a $600 investment. And so that's huge.
Yep, that's huge. Even if your average ticket is $500 and you got 10, that's $5,000. So that's a 10 to 1 return on investment from one show. And we try to do one show or one event a month. Sometimes we do 2. A couple months ago, what led to this being a month of, without giving away the actual number, I will say that this particular month, you saw the number, it's more than most people will do an entire year, and that was from just 2 events. The sportsman show, and we did a home show. So the home show led to 60 people setting up consultations. We haven't even got through all 60 of those, plus the sportsman show. We're still working our way through those leads. And I checked the numbers with one of my trainers. He had a 68% closing rate, and one of them had a 64% closing rate because some of them that came in wanted to buy our DVDs or whatever, so that we don't count that as one of our close. We count the private lessons and the board trains that come from it. But those events, while they cost us, one of them cost us $500, one of them cost $600, it was huge. And we will be able to work those leads, even if you only did 2 or 3 events a year. If your budget only allows for 2 or 3 events a year to get the ball rolling, that right there is probably going to be the single best way to build your name, in addition to the free stuff for the radio and the television.
So kind of in closing here, folks, one thing that I've realized over the years, and one thing that I teach my clients, when we're doing consulting work or what have you, is that systems are super important. Now, I look at my business and I'm proud of what I've done, but I'm also like, I got to get my systems better. I haven't seen anyone doing systems as well as Jim, and so let's just finish up, Jim. You've got this mentorship program. Just tell us a little bit about it and how people can get in touch if they're interested.
So they can get in touch with me. They can find me on Facebook. They can go to our Sit Me Sit Boise Facebook page. They can call our office, which the number is area code 208-888-7978. That's 208-888-7978. 7, 9, 7, 8. Now, the mentoring program has different levels of it. I can mentor them over the phone. There's a small charge to that where we're doing conference calls, or I'm teaching them how to write their programs. Probably another show will be how to build your programs. We'll teach them how to develop the personality of their area, their territory. We're going to take them step by step through how to close, talking to them about what I do to get the free advertising. I'll take them through a comprehensive marketing campaign. We're going to take them through goal setting. Probably one of the most, I had a trainer that contacted me that, in the short version is, her husband passed away. And in the last 2 years that I've been mentoring her, she has been producing anywhere from $8,000 to $19,000 a month in sales after her husband passed away. And she's only in her early 30s when this occurred. It was a freak accident, but she jump-started right into it. She had to. So her why was survival. And she did it. She's just opened up a facility. She's in a town smaller than Boise. She's in a town of 54,000 people.
Wow.
And I know if she can do it, it can be duplicated anywhere. I've seen this from clients I have in Hawaii to small towns in Canada. It can be done. You just need to learn the strategies. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can learn from me via phone calls, conference calls. You can do what Ty did and come up here and be immersed with me and be side by side with me and ride shotgun with me and spend every moment for an entire week and learn everything that I do and immediately have strategies to go back home to implement to become successful.
Awesome. Well, for you folks at home, thank you so much for listening today. Thank you, Jim, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And I encourage you to listen to all of our shows on PetLifeRadio.com. Just click over to Six Figure Dog Business. And I encourage you to listen to all the shows. There's a ton of really great shows on this station, so I encourage you to get out there, check out all the shows on PetLifeRadio.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.